When dealing with betting exchanges like Smarkets and the Betfair Exchange, liability can be one of the most difficult terms to wrap your head around. In this video, we're going to explain what liability is, how to calculate it, and why it's important to understand, especially if you're new to matched betting. Hey guys, TheFrugalife here, back with another matched betting video. This channel is all about breaking down the basics for you and making it both simple and easy for you to get started on your very own matched betting journey. Give the video a like and hit that subscribe button to see more tips and tutorials on matched betting. When you're a beginner to matched betting, liability can be one of those terms that's initially difficult to understand and difficult to calculate. In the Smarkets Help Center, they give a definition of what liability is in this context. This isn't a video about net worth, assets and liabilities. So what is liability? Smarkets say, bet liability refers to the amount you're risking when placing a bet, whether that's backing or laying an outcome. This amount will be deducted from your balance should your bet lose. So simply put, liability is the maximum you could lose from a losing bet. That's it. Let's look at an example to give liability some context. Let's say we're doing a matched betting offer. We place a £10 back bet at the bookmaker for Arsenal to win at odds of 3. 3.0 are the odds in decimal form, but for those of you that work with fractional odds, it would be shown as 2/1. Both are technically correct, but we like to use decimal odds because of the calculators and the equations that we use. I'll explain fractional versus decimal odds in another video. So in this example, if our back bet wins, we'll get our £10 stake back, plus an extra £20 from the bookmaker. But if our back bet loses, we'll lose our £10 stake. But let's look on the other side of things. Because the bookmaker's taking on our bet, our £10 back bet ends up being their £10 lay bet. So from the bookmaker's perspective, if our back bet loses, then their lay bet would win. So they would collect their £10 lay stake from us. However, if our back bet wins, using the same odds of 3, the bookmaker would give back the £10 lay stake and also pay out £20 to us. So for the bookmaker, losing £20 is their worst case scenario, so their liability equals £20. As match bettors, we only use the exchange to place our lay bets that are against our back bets. We always place these two in pairs. So on the betting exchange, we are acting similar to a bookmaker, taking on back bets from other people. So if we were on Smarkets with the same £10 lay bet at odds of 3, our liability would equal £20 as well. If you missed my video where we explain exactly what betting exchanges are, click the I button in the top right hand corner of the screen or finding it in the description below. Calculating liability for one single bet is really simple and it's done with this equation. Liability equals your lay stake multiplied by your lay odds subtracted by 1. See, nothing too fancy or complicated here. Just make sure that you're using the decimal odds and that you subtract 1 before doing the multiplication. So punching in the same numbers as before, using our Arsenal example, you can see that our liability equals our £10 lay stake multiplied by 3 minus 1, which is 2, which gives us £20 liability. When dealing with a real match betting offer, the numbers can be a little bit uglier, but the maths is still the same. Liability can end up being higher or lower than the lay stake. It all depends on the lay odds. The bigger the lay odds, the bigger the liability. This makes sense because when you have high odds, generally something is unlikely to happen. So if a back bet were to win, it would need a large payout from the large liability. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you had low odds, you would have low liability. Because the probability of that back bet winning is quite high, it would end up getting low payout from a low liability. Liability is important to understand, particularly for those of you with limited funds. Because if you don't have a proper grasp of the numbers, sometimes you won't actually be able to place your lay bet. Take a look at this example. Let's say that you have a lovely £50 free bet that you're ready to turn into profit. You find a bet which has back odds and lay odds that are both high and close together. Back odds of 9 and lay odds of 10 is a good example of this. You'd be able to place your free bet at the bookmaker with no problem. It's a free bet, assuming the terms and conditions don't say otherwise, with the maximum odds or anything. But on the exchange, to place a £40 lay bet at odds of 10, you would need at least £360 in your exchange account to place and cover that lay bet. That can be quite a large amount of money if you're new to this and you don't have a large bankroll. I was in that situation too a few years ago when I was getting started. Sometimes you may need to find another bet with lower odds and therefore lower liability. You may not make as much money, but at least you'll be able to place the lay bet and guarantee profits. So make sure that you don't find yourself in that situation where you've used your free bet and you can't lay it off at the exchange because you didn't pay attention to the high liability. Whether it's a qualifying bet, free bet or whatever, we always match our bets. Matched betting is all about eliminating risks and guaranteeing profit, and that can only be done by sticking to the correct technique. We call bets that aren't matched exposed bets, because then you're leaving yourselves exposed to luck and chance. Exposed bets are what the normal customer does, and we don't do that. We match bettors like to bet smart. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with high liability, but if you're trying to do a lot of offers at once, liability can quickly eat into your account balance, limiting how quickly you can go through these offers. If you're starting out with a lot of money and you can commit several £100s without an issue, then that's great. You'll be able to go through all these offers and make profit very quickly. But liability is still something to think about. In a future video, we'll look into something called combined liability. This is a weird mechanic where you can reduce the amount required in your exchange account by placing multiple lay bets. Check out OddsMonkey to learn more about match betting. They have a bunch of free guides and tips to help you get going. I'll have a link to that in the description below. Share the video with a friend to show them how they can make money through match betting. And if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to see more videos from me. I'll have plenty on the way. Make sure that you keep betting smart. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.